Simple registration for single color prints. So this video will just show you some of the, like a really basic way to set up registration for a black and white print or for a single color print, like a entirely red print, something like that. So start off by measuring the block and subtract that block size from your paper size. That's going to give you the size of your borders. So you need to know what your paper size is that you're going to be printing on. I'm going to be assuming that there are borders on my image, or that there are borders on your image. So I have a piece of graph paper here, or you could use newsprint, and I'm going to put my block in the center. The graph paper should be larger than my paper is that I'm going to be printing on, so that I can get my entire guide on that sheet. Once my block is in the center, I'm going to go ahead and trace that out so that I have something to measure off of, and I get to measure off my block size. This helps if I have a slightly crooked block or some of the edges are slightly off center. It helps me make sure that the edges that I measure out from are nice and even. So here I'm measuring out my extra space, left and right, and then I'm going to connect those lines. I got that extra space from, once again, subtracting my block size from my paper size, and that left me with even size borders left and right. And then I'm going to do the same thing top and bottom. So I'm going to match my left and right borders with my top border, and I'm going to connect those lines. And then the extra room that I have on my full sheet of paper, I'm going to leave that at the bottom of the image, and this will help kind of ground the image a bit. So you can see that the bottom edge is much larger than the left, right, and top border. You always want to leave your extra space at the bottom of the image, whether it's a horizontal or vertical composition. So now I'm going to mark the center, top and bottom on my guide. This is using kind of T and bar registration. So a T at the top, a bar at the bottom. It's a upside down uppercase T at the top, and just a simple line or an uppercase I at the bottom is a bar. So you can see what I mean here. I could have that matching on my backside of my paper. I don't necessarily need the T and bar here because I have my entire paper grid laid out. So here I'm just marking as a reminder, this is the plate, this is the paper area, and so then I should check and make sure that everything is accurate. So I bring my block back over, bring my sheet of paper over, and it all lines up, so I'm good to go and move on to the printing.